Hey guys, it's Protendo, and while E3 might technically be dead this year, the energy of the season can still be felt intensely. It feels like the moment the clock turned to midnight on June 1st, boom, the spirit of E3 was unleashed upon the world. Summer Game Fest, State of Play, Xbox and Bethesda Showcase, Sonic Central, and while it's yet to be announced, we all know a Nintendo Direct is right around the corner. Nintendo's Directs tend to fall quarterly, excluding the end of the year, so even with E3's absence this June, we can be sure Nintendo will join everyone else this month and provide a presentation full of updates and reveals. So like every Nintendo YouTuber, I'm legally required to predict what's gonna go down in this Direct, lest I be destroyed by Doug Bowser himself. So without further delay, let's get into my predictions for Nintendo's non-E3 E3 Direct. First things first, I think this Direct will be a little different from Nintendo's usual summer Directs, as I don't think it'll feature a ton of new game announcements. That isn't to say that the presentation won't be big, because I still expect it to be, but this year is already so jam-packed with games that I honestly don't expect Nintendo to reveal a bunch of new ones, despite that typically being what their E3 showcases are known for. In the next half year alone, we've got Mario Strikers, Fire Emblem 3 Hopes, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Bayonetta 3, Splatoon 3, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and more. There's not a ton of room for new titles this year, so I'm really only expecting one, and I'm thinking it'll open the Direct. This is hardly an original thought, but I think it's about time we see that Metroid Prime remaster. This has been one of the most prevalent rumors during the Switch era, starting off as a claim that the entire Metroid Prime Trilogy was going to be remastered in one package, and slowly arriving at the much more befitting of Nintendo option of the first game being the only one to show up. Regardless, this feels like the perfect time to reveal the remaster. It's been 3.5 years since Prime 4 restarted development, and while I don't think we're going to see it in this presentation, I do think Nintendo will want to feed us even more Metroid to hold us over, sort of like how Skyward Sword HD was released with the goal of making the wait for Breath of the Wild 2 slightly less painful. Not to mention the fact that Dread gave Nintendo confirmation that Metroid can still sell very well under the right circumstances. Metroid Prime Remastered will be set to release this October. Next up, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The Booster Course Pass, also known as the Dream Crusher for fans that somehow thought we were getting Mario Kart 9 this gen, is just about due for its second wave. There are dozens of potential courses that Nintendo could choose from for this, so predicting them all is a near impossible task. But I'll just go with a mixture of some that I really want, some that are seasonal, and a couple randoms. Koopa Cape, Airship Fortress, Sydney Sprint, Los Angeles Laps, Delfino Square, Calamari Desert, Daisy Hills, and Sunset Wilds. In a perfect world, we'd be getting 3DS Rainbow Road 2, but we all know Nintendo's not going to use it yet. Wave 2 of the Booster Course Pass will release later this month. After that, we've got a trifecta of threequels to cover: Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Bayonetta 3, and Splatoon 3. Xenoblade and Bayonetta will both get new trailers, Bayonetta's confirming an October release date, but outside of that, I don't see either game having much of a presence in this Direct. Splatoon 3, on the other hand, will have a lot to show. Considering the game's been announced for over a year, it's kind of insane how little we know about it. We've seen glimpses of the basic multiplayer, single player, and salmon run modes, and yet it still feels like we've only scratched the surface of what Squid Game 3 has to offer. I'll go as far as to say that Splatoon will take up more time than any other game in the Direct. Featuring the announcement of new stages, additional modes like Splattle Royale, and the reveal of the game's idols, Splatoon fans will have a lot to chew on after this presentation. And while it's probably a little early for the announcement of a dedicated Direct for the game, I think it'll be apparent that they're still holding things back for such a presentation later this summer. Mario Strikers Battle League will already be out by the time we get this Direct, but Nintendo will still remind us to pick it up, as they tend to do. On top of that, we'll get our first of many free updates. Daisy and Spike will be revealed simultaneously, with Daisy set to release later this month and Spike set to release sometime in the summer. At this point, the Direct will start to wrap up, and we'll finally get the big one. After what's felt like a lifetime, Breath of the Wild 2 will finally get its first major trailer. By the end of this trailer, we'll have a firm understanding of why Breath of the Wild 2 has been taking so long, and what it brings to the table. Look, at this point I've predicted Breath of the Wild 2 trailers more times than I can count, so I'm just gonna say two things. Underground cave system, playable Zelda. Ooh, and we'll also probably get the title reveal here too. There's genuinely no point in trying to predict it, but could I really call myself a Nintendo YouTuber if I didn't provide a terrible option? Let's say The Legend of Zelda Palm of the Ancients. Or I could go with my classic Legend of Zelda Soaring Depths. Come on, it could be worse. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Darkness. Finally, we come to Nintendo's One More Thing. And I don't care if it's unlikely, I don't care if I've been wrong before. I feel like this is our last chance, and I'm pushing for it one last time. Super Mario Odyssey 2, baby. Please, please, just let me cope for one more week. You'll never hear about it again from me if it doesn't show up in this direct, I promise you. It could very well be my biggest pop-off since we got Steven Smash. Actually, maybe that's a reason to hope it doesn't happen. I'm not trying to cause deafness or anything. Anyways guys, that's about it for this video. A Nintendo Direct is on its way, and I'm starting to feel that hype build up. But how about you? Are you excited for the next Nintendo Direct? And what games are you expecting to see? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later.